Welcome back to Kapowich on Real Estate. My name is Pat Kapowich. We are back in the studio with Duane Gomer from Southern California. Duane?
Pleasure to be back again.
You are one of the state's experts on foreclosures, short sales. You did that for years. You taught at UCLA.
Yes, I did.
Same topic.
And I taught you.
That's right. You taught me as well. That's why we wanted you
Outstanding
back.
student.
There you go. And that note, Duane is going around the state educating real estate agents how to help buyers and sellers on the topic of short sales and foreclosures. Tonight's topic is, of course, short sales. Now, let's speak about what happened. I was around in the early 90s with the, there was a boom of the late 80s where I was there, and then boom, we hit that S&L crisis and the economic slowdown with aerospace, and when short sales were left and right.
Yes, back in the 90s they had short sales. This was the first time probably that they ever had short sales in California. What happened was that the economy got so bad that they just could not pay their loan payments. And it wasn't anything like now where the loan or subprime market or anything else. It just was bad employment. And so what they did is the lenders actually did start taking less than they were owed. And so real estate agents would work with people to do that.
Okay, now it's taking less than you were owed. So that is the short sale.
A short sale.
Upside down.
Underwater. Properties.
So the loans actually went down, the value went down below the amount of the loan.
Correct. Now, if somebody in the last year or two bought a property and all they put down was 10% down, they put 10% down and the property drops 10%, they have no equity at all because it would cost them another 8% to sell it.
Right.
So the minute they buy the property with nothing down, it's probably underwater. And then when the prices drop 20%, they're really underwater. They could not resell it.
Now, you travel to 58 counties, just about.
Well, quite a few counties.
Quite a few counties. So parts of Santa Clara County have been hit worse than others, and San Mateo County hasn't hit as hard as the Sacramento Valley.
Yes.
We're over there, prices have gone down, what, 50%?
Oh, no, they've gone down maybe 25 and 30, but a lot of them, those were all subprime markets. Stockton, Palmdale, Rancho Cucamonga, those outlying areas, they were hit because almost all loans were nothing down, and then they would adjust later and put the people with extremely high payments that they could not make.
Now, I had one of the mailmen that stopped by my office. He, with a group of family members, bought 11 new homes outside of Tracy somewhere.
Good luck.
Yeah, they did. Well, they did during the 2005, 2006, and it would have been 700, but because they bought together, it was 625. And he got an offer about a month ago of 350.
Yes, that could happen.
Okay. So that said, we are talking about a short sale. Now, in terms of the length of the short sale, once the occupant knows that they are in trouble, how does that work in terms of?
Well, they can start it at any time. They just have to communicate with the lender that they cannot keep the payments up. And most of the time it's good to get a real estate broker involved because the lenders will not talk to them normally until they have a buyer.
Okay. So once the lender is involved, or let's say a realtor is involved, licensee, then they can speak to the lender on behalf of the occupant.
Yes. First thing a real estate agent and the owner should do is sign a letter to the agent, allowing the agent, who should be more experienced, to call the lender to see if what can be worked out and if a short sale is possible.
Now, it's important that perhaps that licensee or somebody in their office is experienced with this, because these banks have short sale negotiators, the loss mitigation department, and these people are pretty tough.
Well, yes, but they don't want the properties back. And so what they have done, many of them have actually outsourced it, and they'll buy 5 or 6 lenders will go together to start a loss mitigation outsource service. So yes, they're getting very professional in doing it.
Okay, so that said, the occupant needs to, you're not speaking with an 800 number with customer service or collection. It's a direct dial to some loss mitigation department.
Normally, right.
Normally.
And you may be in a California property. The other day a friend of mine was talking to Florida. So they have all over the country, they may centralize it in one area.
Okay. Now in California, we have trustee sales
Correct.
that are fairly quick compared to the rest of the country that has
Correct.
mortgages.
Correct.
Okay, can you speak about the time frames and how they play out with a short sale?
If the person waits too long and the lender starts a foreclosure, trust in California would be a trustee sale. The minimum time would be 3 months for a notice period, and then after the notice period, there would be a minimum of 21 days advertising. So if everything moved quickly, the lender could take it back in 4 months.
Okay.
But lenders right now are waiting many times 6 to 7 months before they will start the notice of default.
Now, why should a seller go through this headache of a short sale?
Well, I was just reading CAR's, the California Association, who obviously studies this very closely, and they say basically there are just 2 reasons. One is to get out from underneath the property without having a foreclosure on their record, and the second is probably just to get a new start because everything has gone badly and they would want to go out and start again.
Right. On that note, we should probably have a little information here about the scams that take place.
Oh, the scams
Yes.
are terrible, and people will come in saying that they are going to help them and will take their property and get a trustee against it and file it and cheat the owner out of all equity they have.
Right. So what they would do is to come in and say, please sign the property over to us.
We'll try to get a loan for you.
We'll try and get a loan for you, and then you could live here. We'll put it in our name because we have good credit, or our company, and then we will try and resolve this issue, and then we'll deed it back to you.
Great. And what they'll do many times is put the loan down and then go out and refinance it through some other lender and take some money out and then disappear and then never make a payment. Now the person has even more against the property,
Right.
and sometimes they sign the property over.
And sometimes they actually pay a fee for this upfront
Yes,
cash,
yes,
up
those
to
are- and they're
$1,500,
called-
$2,800.
They're called foreclosure consultants, and it's a big scam.
Oh, jeez. Okay, now why should a buyer bid on these homes?
Well, a buyer, many times right now, many of the best properties are out there, and if they can get a lender to be cooperative, they can probably get a good buy. And it's time consuming, but for the buyer, but the only thing the buyer needs extra from a normal purchase would be patience.
Right.
All the work is done with the listing agent, who's got to handle the lender to make sure it's done.
Right. Now you'll speak to a listing agent who has a home for sale on, say, Elm Street. It's a short sale. They put it in the listing. It is a short sale.
Correct.
5 offers might come in, and they forward them all to the loss mitigation department.
Well, probably not. I don't think there isn't a lot of multiple offers in today's market.
Right.
That's not happening like
Yeah.
it did years ago.
Right.
So they'd be lucky maybe to get 1 offer or 2, but they can forward them as a listing agent. They'd be bound to forward them to the lender
Right.
for approval. But they got to make sure that when they do the listing, that it states that any offers are subject to lender approval, and any commissions are subject to lender approval.
Right. So the listing agent has to make sure that wording is in the paperwork.
That's right. That's why CAR has designed, for the agents, has designed a new listing addendum, and anybody in the public out there should make sure their agent is using that form.
Okay. Now, in terms of the heavy lifting, the sellers, the lenders,
The listing agent will be doing a lot of the work, and then they will be communicating with the lender's loss mitigation department, and that's the time-consuming part.
okay, because I did hear one loss mitigator speak about at his office they had boxes on a table, and it was Monday through Friday, and they would put the file in there with a certain Monday in the future, and they'll go back to that box eventually. So out there somewhere is a buyer's agent and a family waiting to hear on that offer.
Oh, yes.
So that's where that patience comes in.
Yes, and the other thing they have to do, if they're making an offer, any buyer making an offer, it's going to be subject to lender approval, but they should talk to the listing agent and make sure that approval by the lender has a time frame on it, so it's not open-ended. They should set it, so in other words, you just say we're subject to lender approval. The lender could take a tremendous amount of time and you'd still be in contract. So you should put a reasonable time frame on the lender's approval.